Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover the hidden stories in corporate filings and just sometimes find out if XMax Incorporated is still on the moon with XI. Before we dive in, if you love getting these unfiltered insights directly from the source, make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to chat with us and share your own discoveries, connect with us on Discord. The link is in the description below. Today we're looking at a very interesting Form 8K filing from XMax Incorporated. Now, 8Ks are usually for big, important events that a company needs to tell the public about right away, not just at the end of a quarter. And this one has a few things going on, especially when it comes to some new investments that sound pretty futuristic. It looks like XMax Incorporated, through one of its subsidiaries, XMax Beta Holdings Limited, is making some moves in the artificial intelligence space. They entered into an agreement to essentially buy almost 100% interest in something called Preamble X capital I. This Preamble X capital I is a bit of a holding company or a fund. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Preamble X capital I itself is then investing in other entities. One of these is a special purpose vehicle, or SPV, which sounds like a specific company set up for a particular purpose. This SPV is involved with equity certificates that are tied to Series B preferred stock of XAI Corp. Yes, you heard that right, XAI Corp. And this Series B preferred stock of XII Corp is held by a certain fund. So, to break that down simply, XMax Incorporated is investing in a fund, which is then investing in a vehicle that holds stock in XII Corp. That's a layer of complexity, but the core idea is that XMax is putting money into something that gives them exposure to XII Corp. And it gets even more layered because shortly after Preamble X capital I, the same fund XMax is invested in, is making another investment. This time it's to buy a certain interest in a separate fund. And what is that separate fund doing with this money? It's using it to purchase shares of common stock of XII Corp. So, on the 2nd of December, the main agreement was made and completed for XMax to get into Preamble X capital I. And shortly after, Preamble X capital I made its own investments. One into that SPV related to Series B preferred stock of XII Corp. And another into a fund that will buy common stock of XII Corp. The total amount XMax is putting into Preamble X capital I is about $8.46 million. This subscription amount is significant. It means XMax is becoming a member of Preamble X capital I and is bound by its operating rules. What is also interesting here is that the applicable management fee percentage for XMax is 0%. That is a pretty sweet deal, meaning they are not paying any ongoing fees to manage this investment within Preamble X capital I itself. Then Preamble X capital I invests about $3 million into the SPV for those equity certificates tied to XI Corp. Preferred stock. Remember, this SPV already holds a bunch of these certificates, meaning XMax, through its investment in Preamble X, is indirectly getting more exposure to XII. And just a few days later, on the 8th of December, Preamble X Capital I commits another $5.4 million to a different fund, which will then use that money to buy common stock of XII Corp. So let's tally this up. XMax is putting in over $8.4 million into Preamble X Capital I. Part of that money, along with other funds, is being used by Preamble X Capital I to invest in entities that will ultimately hold preferred and common stock in this XII Corp. While the filing doesn't give us exact profit or loss numbers, because this is about entering into agreements rather than reporting financials for a period, it highlights a major strategic move. XMax Inc., an entity that is publicly traded on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol XWIN, is making a substantial bet on an AI company. This tells us they are potentially looking for growth in emerging technologies and are willing to invest significant capital to do so. The fact that they are routing these investments through multiple holding companies and funds suggests a strategy to manage risk or perhaps to gain access to specific investment terms. The 0% management fee is a good sign for XMax, as it maximizes the capital deployed towards the actual investment, rather than administrative costs. These agreements are quite detailed, but what is important for us to see here is the direction XMax is heading. They are clearly interested in the AI space, and XII Corp seems to be the target. This type of investment can be high risk, high reward. AI is a rapidly evolving field, and companies in this space can either become titans or fade away. XMax is essentially placing a significant bet on the success of XI. Looking at the broader picture for XMax Inc., they are registered in Nevada and have their stock traded on the Nasdaq. This filing doesn't give us a clear financial health update like a quarterly report would, but it does reveal a key strategic initiative. They are clearly diversifying or expanding their interests into a very hot and potentially lucrative sector. Now, what does this all mean for XMax Inc? On the positive side, they are actively seeking growth opportunities, particularly in a high potential area like artificial intelligence. Investing in AI can position them for future growth and innovation. The fact that they are investing substantial amounts shows confidence in this venture. On the other hand, investing in early stage or specialized AI companies carries considerable risk. The valuation of such companies can be very speculative, and success is far from guaranteed. There is also the complexity of these multi-layered investments, which can obscure the true nature of the underlying assets and potential liabilities. From a Warren Buffett perspective, you'd want to understand the underlying economics and competitive advantages of XAI Corp deeply. Is it a truly disruptive technology with a moat around it, or just the latest buzzword? Without more information on XAI Corp itself, it's hard to say, but XMax is clearly taking a calculated, albeit significant gamble. So, in conclusion, XMax Incorporated is making big strategic moves by investing heavily into the AI space, specifically through entities tied to XAI Corp. This signals an aggressive growth strategy, but also carries the inherent risks of investing in emerging technologies. It will be crucial to watch how these investments play out and whether XAI Corp lives up to the hype. Alright, that is our breakdown of XMax Inc.'s latest filing. What is your take on these AI investments and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. And don't forget to check out the Discord link in the description to connect with us and other like-minded investors. Thanks for watching. See you next time.